Apple's new Face ID has been quite the controversial topic when talking about the iPhone X. Whether it be about the notch at the top of the phone, which is where the sensors are located for Face ID, or the type of data that's being collected when Face ID is in use, either way, there is no shortage of topics when talking about Face ID on the iPhone X. Now, aside from using Face ID for payments or signing into applications and websites, the biggest use case for iPhone X users is unlocking your device. It's something we do many times a day, and overall, I've had some pretty mixed thoughts about it. So, is facial recognition really worth having in a smartphone? And what are some of the pros and cons? Also, some of the Android counterparts out there have Face Unlock, and is that any better than Face ID on the iPhone X? So let's start with pros and cons. One major pro is the convenience factor of unlocking your device. When things work correctly, you can just pick up your phone and your face will automatically unlock your phone. Or if your hands are dirty and your fingerprint won't work, having a face unlock eliminates this problem. This actually happens to me more than you might think. So with the iPhone specifically, you can use Face ID to authenticate passwords or make purchases, but as we showed in an earlier video about using Apple Pay with Face ID versus Touch ID, to me there really wasn't a clear-cut winner. They were both kind of a similar experience. Some problems with Face ID or facial recognition in general is when my phone is laying flat on a table or I'm laying in bed and Face ID is having trouble recognizing my face. These are probably some of the more common ways that I use my phone too. So for me, Face ID works about 75% of the time. I've also noticed if I pick my phone up and raise to wake activates the screen, but my fingers might be covering any part of the sensors in the notch area, it won't recognize my face once everything is unobstructed. I have to turn off the screen and then try again. This also happens way more than I would like it to. This is why I wish the iPhone would have included Touch ID somewhere on the back of the device in conjunction with Face ID. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 has a myriad of different ways to unlock your device, whether it be by fingerprint, iris, or face unlock. And the same thing applies to the newly released OnePlus 5T. You have an incredibly fast face unlock and fingerprint sensor and can use both in conjunction with each other if you choose to do so. Now, all three of these phones' face unlock features work pretty well and are pretty secure to a point. I wouldn't be really worried about a picture of you fooling your phone into thinking that you are there and unlocking your device. However, I have heard things about identical twins having a few issues with being able to unlock each other's phones. I would say that the OnePlus 5T has been more accurate and way faster to unlock my phone when using it in standard scenarios, but it's unusable in low light. OnePlus uses the front-facing camera to read your face, and according to the company, it uses about 100 unique identifiers in order to help read your face with more accuracy. The iPhone X uses infrared beams and sends out about 30,000 of them to accurately and securely recognize your face. This is a big reason why Face ID, although can be frustrating at times for me personally, is a more intricate and sophisticated piece of technology and also a lot more secure when it comes to authenticating payments and making purchases. Although I think the OnePlus 5T is a good indicator that Android is getting better with their face unlocking capabilities, but that's all that it can really do. It can only be used to unlock your phone at this time and is more of a convenience factor as opposed to a form of real security. This is a huge reason why the OnePlus 5T won't let you authenticate passwords or mobile payments, and instead you have to use the fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone. There is a lot of technology packed in this little notch on the iPhone X that makes Face ID and its capabilities really impressive. So this brings me to my last question of whether or not I personally feel that facial recognition on a smartphone is really necessary over having something like a fingerprint sensor. To be honest, I'm not really sure. I got used to the fingerprint sensors being the norm over the last couple of years, and I like them being on the front of a phone because when I use my phone flat on a table, it's just easier for me to interact and unlock the device. Just like anything else, when Apple removed the fingerprint sensor and introduced change, I wasn't ready for it. Now that's not to say that Face ID isn't any good. In fact, I think the opposite. I think it's actually pretty incredible what it's capable of doing. But I personally just enjoyed having a fingerprint sensor, and I'm just not used to Face ID quite yet. So it's really hard for me to say whether or not I feel that it's completely necessary, although if they keep making more improvements in this field, I'm sure I can get used to it real quickly. Again, these are just my thoughts, but I miss Touch ID right now over Face ID. Call me crazy, but it is what it is. So what are your thoughts on facial recognition versus something like a fingerprint sensor? Which one do you prefer? Let us know in the comment section down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.